Well, good evening and welcome back to the Agra Unfiltered. You join us back in the pub, which is nice.
Always good in the pub.
It's always good in the pub. Obviously, it's dry January for me, which is every month since I don't drink alcohol, so I'm drinking a zero. You're on the Cokes. And what have you got? You can't say the same. Well, we're not even going to go there, Liam. That's absolutely fine. It's been it was a stressful end to the last game, so maybe that's what's drawn you to that. But yeah, let's give us your assessment really, because we had a phenomenal result against a team a league above us, where I think that we all expected us to win, but not in the fashion that we did do that. The 6-1 was emphatic and it was brilliant. It was a great statement to our fans and to the league itself and the league above, I think. But then we go against a hard-working, strong worksop team that I think are probably in a bit of a false position in the league, to be honest with you, off the back of that performance against us.
Well, they're as you say, a strong team. They're great. They're forward. They're centre forward. They're number 19. I'd have him in our team. I'd love a player like him where he was just taking us down. You know, like he could probably run with 3 players on his back. He's like, and it wasn't until we got to grips with the game that we started to turn it around. We let them get away with it in the first 10 minutes. You know, they got 2 goals, and we're struggling after having won 6-2 on the Morecambe game, which I think we all hoped we'd win, but whether it was they weren't as good as we perhaps thought they might be, or we were far better than I don't know.
Yeah, I think like you're saying, like he was a bit of a bully, that striker, really, and we did struggle with him at times. Yeah. That first 15 minutes of Saturday, what did you make of it, Liam?
Well, I actually missed the first goal. I was still taking my seat, but it did seem they're quite good front of goal. The first 20-25 minutes, really, they looked a really good team. I think the players, I think, were a bit shook. I think Worksop's always a hard game, aren't they? Because they play a certain style of football that we possibly don't play well against. But I think the fact that we came back into it, I don't think that would have happened at the start of the season.
Were you surprised about the lineup that was chosen? Because I was surprised. I think we're all surprised against Morecambe. It was like, whoa, there's no recognised striker on the pitch. We're going to go with this. Okay, bit of flair. But the reality is we played against a flair team who like to play it out from the back, and it was. I felt for the Morecambe fans because no matter what was going on, he was just constantly saying, play it out from the back, play it out from the back. Whereas we go against a strong Worksop team who we've played before, but yet we still continue to... We set up like we did against Morecambe. Were you surprised about
that? It's a difficult one because if you're coming off from a 6-2 win, it's sort of, you don't really want to change too much. But as you say, they're completely different sides. So I think I entirely trust Adam and his team's tactical now, so they thought that was the right thing to do.
I mean, definitely. I mean, he's definitely got more credentials than you and me and Stuart put 100%. Together, 100%. And we do trust Adam, and we've always have done. And like you say, like I wouldn't have been brave enough to do that, but it seems that he was brave enough to do that.
Also, chatting with the guys around me on Saturday, the thing before the game, we were just talking about the Morecambe game and everything else, where we've come to, you know, somebody one of the people put his hand on my shoulder and he said, I have to admit, you were right to hold faith, you know, with Adam and all that business, and which is good. But the thing that I think has been good lately, we've had a pretty settled starting 11.
Yeah.
And we've got to that point. We were all calling for it. And I think we've got that, and we generally, basically, you kind of know who's going to be on the sheet.
And he's done it in the right way, I think. He's experimented, he's figured it out, and he's got to a place where he's gone, okay, I've made some poor decisions in the transfer market, that hasn't worked for me, but I'm going to rectify that and go back in there and make some better ones. And we were just saying off camera, like, who are some of our outstanding performers? Well, actually, a lot of them are the more recent signings. You know, Owen, fantastic to see that he signed an 18-month deal. Charlie Cooper is looking good. I know David Davis isn't his signing, but David Davis this year, I believe, looks like a different David Davis from last year. He looks younger and fitter.
Yeah, that's right.
And he looks more determined and hungry as well.
And his experience is, you know, it's good having a player of his experience of leagues above, you know, championship football, etc. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, and then you've got PK. He's obviously one of the later signings. PK's a class signing. How about you, Liam? Who were your outstanders? We've obviously mentioned those kind of three.
Well, I think I'd have to say David Davies. And I think, especially since he's come back from that recent injury, he seems to float across that pitch. You'd think it was in his teenage years or something, but he seems to forget about. So one game he's scoring a goal, another game he's slotting back into centre back. I think we wouldn't be where we are without him.
No, I tend to agree.
On and off the pitch.
It is good to see more of a settled side where we can kind of, that back line is pretty settled now, and it's clear it's helping PK and Obi playing together. There's confidence there. They're communicating better.
I think it's good you get to know the players because they play. Like, you know what I mean? Like, your team becomes familiar to you. And we know who's... Like, George Walker's playing every game now.
Oh, he's fantastic as well.
And I love to see on the wing, you've got Riley on one... Reece on one side, him on the other side, putting balls in the box. On Saturday, the amount of balls that were in that box that we could have got... I mean, they defended quite well. There were moments where you think, just a bit more luck and we would have got another goal. But it's good to know your team. I think we're getting to know this team.
I mean, what's really exciting is that the team isn't just playing for itself; it's playing as in
for each
individuals. It's playing for each other, like you say. And that could never have been more apparent than at the end of this game when Joe Folks gets the man of the match, and rightly so. He's an excellent player, possibly one of our best that we have, and we all know that. Yeah. But Joe's humble enough, and it's the mark of the man, and he is a young man, but it's a mark of the man to say, actually, there's others on the pitch that deserve it more than me. And he came up, so I was in hospitality, as I am most weeks, and he came up, and there was like this 10-15 minute delay between the end of the game and the man of the match award. Normally it's like instantaneous, and people are like, what's going on? He came up with the sponsors, and he came up with George, and he said, look, I just want to say a couple of words. I really appreciate all the plaudits I get. I'm grateful for how much you will back me, but actually this is a team, and there's many players that deserved it, but unanimously the team have decided that we want to give it to George.
That's amazing.
And he deserved that. There's 2 in a row for him. One thing I'd say about George is he's an excellent person to interview. And he speaks very, very well. And he's got lots of energy. He's energetic on the pitch, but he's energetic off the pitch as well. And that's what we need. We need some...
I love to watch him when he gets away. He's one of those players, you know he's going to try and go forward, round,
and he doesn't look like he's built massive. He's got bandy legs, but he is rapid, and he's not frightened of the batterings now. And I think good for you, George.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's good. Let's talk Morecambe then, Liam. What was your assessment on that?
It's a bit of a goal fest, really, weren't it? I mean, both sides scored 6 to 8 goals in a game. You don't really get that very, very often. I think it was nice to have that lift for the fans. It's a shame that the attendance wasn't great, but you always get that in the cup. But yeah, different goal scorers. Glad David Davies got a goal because he
didn't have anything but score.
I think he'd hit the bar before he scored. So
twice he could have had a hat trick. He could have at least. Yeah.
So it was good when he finally scored. I think that's the loudest cheer of the night. So a bit more come on club that's recently been saved. So I think they're in a bit of a situation where hopefully they stay up. But yeah, it was definitely a good result.
I mean, Morecambe were poor. That was obvious, and didn't look like their players wanted to play for the manager. But we made them look even worse than they already were, and it didn't look like we were the lower division team. It looked like they were, and hopefully that was a statement to our league and the league above.
That's right. We were on them. I think we were playing out from the back. We were cutting them down. Not letting them get comfortable on the ball. It was quite interesting at half time. They were 5-1, and it was almost like didn't know what to say to anyone. It was almost like, we're 5-1. It was like, it's great, but it was almost like weird because the game was over effectively.
And you mentioned about the low attendance being in the cup. A lot of people often say to me, but why is the ticket price what it is in the cup? What's going on? Well, the key thing about that is that we don't take all the gates in the cup. We have to share the gates with the opposing team, and it's the league that set the price. So at the end of the day, we have to go with what it is, and it's one of those games that's a funny one where you don't even get any comps. So like staff normally get a couple of comp tickets, but in the cup we don't even get it, and even the players were looking for them, and they're not allowed them either. So, and that's not the club being Scrooges. It's not the club being like whatever. It's simply the way it is. It's because we have to split everything with the opposing team, and that's why it doesn't count in your season ticket. I didn't know that, but that's why it doesn't count in your season ticket, which is it makes a lot of sense when you start working all of that stuff out. But I'll tell you one good thing I would advise anybody to do if you have got a few quid extra, and we do get through against Halifax, which I think we can get through. It'll be obviously a lot tougher, that game, but it's not an impossibility. And I believe that if we get through this, if we could get a home tie, then I'd encourage all of you to go and get yourself a bit of hospitality, because the hospitality for a cup game is a lot cheaper. I think it's 35 quid. And honestly, like it's not like what it is on Saturdays, so I don't want to dwell too much on hospitality, but if you haven't done it on a Saturday, it is phenomenal. But it's there is a price and cost to it, because you're getting 3 courses and you're getting a lot of entertainment. It's way more chilled for a cup game. It's 35 quid. There was 1 course, it was buffet style, still a quiz, still lots of nice stuff going on, but it was so chilled up there. It was real good fun. And I'd really encourage you, just if you've got 35 quid, just give it a try, because you also get a nice comfy padded seat, and you can watch it from the warmth up there as well, which is kind of nice. But yeah, 6-1, what a result that was.
It was amazing. It was great, wasn't it? I mean, to win that comfortably, it gives you a bit of confidence, which is in a way why Saturday was so disappointing. I thought we'd go in with a bit more, and I think we probably went against a team who play a certain way, and we probably tried to carry on playing, almost perhaps carrying on from where we'd left off. But they were never going to let us do that.
No, and I think if the game had gone on another 10 minutes, we would have got the goal that we needed to win it. And there's no doubt about that. And I think the referee did all he could to. The referee was poor in that game.
Man,
he was dreadful. He missed
the
so much.
On our side, on
on ours as well, in the main. And both teams were cross with the linesman and the referee. I mean, there were so many opportunities that they should have had yellows and we should have had. He was poor in general, and I think that he knew that he'd made some poor decisions, and therefore he was trying to give the benefit of the doubt, extend some of the play. But it didn't come, and that's because we just weren't clinical enough in front of goal. But the positive for me was seeing Bruce Miniker come on. A local lad who has been through every moment with Harriers, to the point of he had been part of mini kickers with Nick in the foundation years ago.
It's great, isn't it?
Played for a local team, and then he's been part of the academy set up, come all the way through. Now, and on that Saturday, I put a post out about this recently. On Saturday, he was down with us, coaching our kids in the community for the foundation, mini kickers. He was doing that till 11:15. Then he's back up in the stadium, and he's warming up, and he's on the bench, and and then he comes on and makes his debut. And then, this afternoon, I don't want to embarrass him, and we're going to do a little bit of a piece on Bruce in the foundation, but he was out in a school today teaching, doing an after-school club.
Fair play.
And I just think that's awesome. That's what we want to see some of our first teamers do, the journey.
It's grounded, isn't it? It's being grounded. I think the problem is, if you play for we'll talk Premier League or even Championship probably, you're a young person and you get on the fringes of a team, you're going to be earning money nowadays. You're going to be earning ridiculous money for a teenager. And you're not a kiddie, But it's a good grounding, isn't it? It's saying, who knows what your career might do or might not do. But he's learning a lot about life as much as football.
Yeah, and he just cares about the club and he cares about the town, which is excellent.
Awesome.
I mean, you work at the college, don't you, Liam? And you've seen him in and around the college at times.
Yeah, I always think it's quite interesting. See, I do work at the college. So obviously we partner with the Kidderminster Harriers Academy, so it's worth mentioning the Kidderminster Harriers Academy. It is quite a good system, because all the people that come through also come to college and get qualification. Because for those that potentially do not progress into football, still have that qualification to fall back on. So it is quite interesting seeing Kobe Hall's another example. You see them play on a Saturday, on a Monday morning, they're in the reception of the college. It's quite a weird one, but it's great to see academy players coming through. I know he was an academy player, but Louis Francis obviously made his debut against Morecambe as well, so that was good to see when he got some pedigree. So, but bring more young players.
Yeah, I think so. And talking about the young players, obviously within that Morecambe game, Toby Oniane, I'm going to butcher his name, so I'm really sorry about that, Toby. But
he was great.
He was fantastic. Got his goal and well deserved. He plays with arrogance. He plays with aggression, which I really like.
You want that?
Definitely. You don't want to. We've said it before. I don't want to bash certain players, but Charlie Lutz, I'm going to call him out a little bit. He was poor when he came on loan to us, and I don't think he's a poor player because I've seen him in. Now he's doing all right. Yeah. But he just couldn't handle National League North last year with us, and Toby's come out of the gates like wanting it, and it's interesting you talk about like players higher up the leagues on money. I don't know what he's earning. He could be on £50 a week. He could be on £50,000 a week. I don't know. But I'm sure that he'll be earning a decent whack being in the 21s of Leicester, to be fair. I don't think he'll be a millionaire, but I think he'll be okay. Yeah. But he seems grounded. He seems hungry. And he seems to like... It reminds me of Reece Williams. When Reece came in years ago from Liverpool, you would have thought, he's he could have been a bit of a big-time Charlie, but he dug in, did what he did for us, fantastic, and then he ended up playing for Liverpool in Champions League and all the others. And hopefully we can hold on to someone like Toby Oniane to the end of the season and see where it takes us.
I hope so. The more we can, I think most of the players we've got now, I hope we can hold on to the end of the season. I think there are probably a couple who might go, but not necessarily the ones that people have been talking about. But yeah.
I mean, the reality is, Adam keeps saying that we will be bringing in somebody, and he's looking at that all the time. I don't have any news, by the way,
it's got to be the right person,
so I can't tell you anything because I literally don't know anything, and they wouldn't tell me if
we only
they
need
did.
Now, where we're at now, we only need the right person, like somebody who's going to hit the ground running.
Yeah, because remember, in the league, if we did not push on from where we are, that would be a shame. But if we just sustained where we are to the end of the season, I think most of us would be content with that. Yeah. But the reality is, I think most of us all also have that itch to see us just push and go for it. And I think there's nothing. We're going to lose nothing here if we go for this.
That's right. Yeah.
But actually, we've got everything to gain ultimately, haven't we? And I think it'll be people like South Shields that will trip up at times. Merthyr will trip up. I was reading today, came up on my feed, I don't know why, that Merthyr were looking at a lad who was on loan from Cardiff to Barry Town, who's just been recalled back to back to Cardiff. He's got 6 months on his deal and they want to get rid of him on a permanent. He's a young lad, 21, and apparently they're looking at him to replace Ricardo Rees. So they're obviously still scoring goals, but they're looking for somebody. We're looking for that clinical finisher. Every club is, let's be honest, every club wants a Ricardo Rees, don't they?
Everyone wants to unearth a talent, don't they?
Of course they do. One of the things I want to talk about in that Morecambe game, I know we've kind of moved on from there a little bit, but Ben Tollett, I did not like that, a challenge that he made on George Walker. There was a bit of a scrap there. I felt like George got a good old bashing in that game, and and to be fair, I felt like at times, although they did play good football, they did take it to the edge as well, and
totally.
They were difficult. Someone lent into me who was with me on that game and said, look, they ultimately do not want to play for the manager. They're now going to try and get sent off here, and I think you could argue that you could sort of see some of that going on.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because as a club, they've been saved.
Yeah.
And that's what you want, because fans, it's always the fans that suffer, which is why a team like Merthyr, we went to Merthyr, didn't we? And I was chatting to some of their fans, and they're a fan-owned club, who've come back from somewhere, they've kind of bought out the club for that, etc. And it's good that the fans, like Macclesfield, they've now got a club again that they can support, which is fantastic.
What a result, by the way.
Who's that?
Macclesfield.
Oh yeah, absolutely brilliant.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they did what we couldn't do, wasn't it? Just in the FA Cup. And that's a weird one, isn't it? Because I was thinking about that. We beat them, didn't we?
So what you're saying is that we could beat Crystal Palace as well?
No,
we could easily. Come on.
The difference that the FA Cup makes, for instance, that they played like they were amazing.
Yeah, but remember, we did beat Reading, and they were in the Championship. They had Andy Carroll, they had decent players at the time, and we did go toe to toe with a West Ham that had £100 million Declan Rice in it.
My point is, we'll go to Macclesfield, and I'm not saying we'll win, because you can't say that. They'll put up a fight, absolutely. I'm not saying that, Macclesfield fans, but it will. It's a different game. I think we can't look at that FA Cup and think, wow, who are they? The FA Cup is a different beast.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating football, and it can rip your heart out as much as it can lift your heart. It's
Talking about things lifting and ripping your heart out, should we talk about last year when you wore that dreaded scarf to Southport? There it is.
Can I talk about, so this is the scarf.
The scarf.
I've worn it now 3 times. The first 2 times, Southport away, last game of the season, we lost, as we know. The playoff semi, Chester, we lost, as you know. I'm not a superstitious person, touch wood, only joking. I'm not a superstitious person, but I've been looking for an opportunity to bring it out, so I took it on Saturday. We're 2-0 down on 11 minutes, and I'm like, oh my word. But the fact that we came back, I'm claiming that this scarf has now been cured, and actually I can wear it safely.
Get the old power of Christ compels you on.
Not set fire anyway.
No, so we're all right. Okay. So you're going to wear that again?
I've got no choice.
Okay. Well, we've got Bedford next week, and then we've got Macclesfield.
There he is. Yeah, there's plenty of opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to that. Let's talk about that.
I'm going to Bedford, by the way.
What do you mean you're not going to Bedford?
I'll go to Macclesfield. I can't do it all.
You can do it.
No. Go on, anyway.
He says this every time, and then every time you end up in the car and you end up there. So we all know. Listen, if you go to Bedford, you'll see him there because he will be there. Anyway, I'm pretty sure he said that about Merthyr, didn't he?
I probably did.
And he said that about Marine as well, didn't he?
Probably did.
Marine was the best one.
Marine was like, I'm definitely not going, and then literally
Off at 9 o'clock that morning, he was still saying no.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure at 4 o'clock when I picked you up in the car, you were saying no, and we would do.
I mean, he was right in the end, weren't he?
He was right, yeah. But Bedford, let's talk about that. That's going to be an interesting game, I think, because we took them to town. I think when we played them, they didn't know what to do with us and how to cope with us. But I think it will be different there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you go away. I think on the home ground,
Tuesday night.
Yeah, we've got to turn up and do our thing.
And I think so you've got Scarborough. You're still debating whether you're going to Scarborough or not.
I'll decide in the morning.
I am going to Scarborough. Book me a hotel, so I am going to Scarborough. I think Scarborough's going to be a good game, hard game. Yeah. John Greening, I think, as you all know, I keep talking about John Greening. He is a good manager at this level.
I think so.
He's getting a good tune out of that team. When they were like odds-on favourites for relegation, I think, this year. So
were they really?
Yeah, they weren't looking like a promotion favourite or anything like that. They were, because they'd obviously struggled with their ground and all sorts of other stuff. I think people were thinking, but actually they're a big unit of a team. They're still in and around the playoffs, so I think that will be a tough game going up there on Saturday. I think the weather will have stuff to play in this as well, because on Saturday it's predicted, I think, a bit of rain as well and a bit of sleet, so it's going to be a bit crappy, the weather, which should be great.
A proper pitch, like a grass?
Yes, Bridlington is a proper pitch as well, whereas actually their home ground at the Pink Flamingo Land or whatever it is, the Flamingo Land Stadium, that is a 4G, isn't it? That's getting ripped up. So obviously they've had a bit of a season to get used to it, but for us, it's going to be a challenge game. What do you think, Liam? What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I went to that Scarborough game. I think we lost 5-3 in the end on a Tuesday night. So I think it's one of those fixtures that I personally dread. But yeah, I think it'll be a tough side. Again, they play a certain style of football that a lot of the league plays, so we've just got to try and break it down. I think we've got the players to do that now. So
it's interesting, isn't it? Because we've got 5 on the bounce. So we've got Scarborough, then we've got Bedford. So do Scarborough, do Bedford. I think, like I said, Bedford, I think we will get a result there, but I think it will be tough. Then we go to, is it Darlington after that?
Possibly.
That's going to be. I don't fancy going up to Darlington. No, we've got Halifax. Sorry, after the cup, we've got Halifax. Sorry.
Your birthday,
we've got Halifax. Then we've got. Is it Darlington? Then Macclesfield after that, and then we've got Merthyr. So it's going to be, some tough games in there, really.
But you've got, if you want to win, if you want to go up, if you want to get playoffs, we've got to win some of them. We've got to play those games and do well, haven't we?
So, okay, out of those 5 games, how many points do you think is a realistic target for us?
I want to say 15.
You want to say 15? I think, realistically, we should be looking at between 12 and 15.
Yeah, I mean, on current form, Saturday I think was was a blip. Why not? 15 points, I think my heart says 15. My head says if we got 12 points, I'd be happy.
Yeah. Okay. I can probably agree with that as well.
But let's go for 15.
Let's go for 15, then that'll be good. And then, it's stuff going on when, we've talked about, I've talked a bit briefly about hospitality. I want to just point out there is a raffle going on to join me for the Merthyr game and my table for the Merthyr game, which I would encourage you to go and to get involved in. Every pound will go towards the foundation. That is obviously the charitable arm of the Harriers. And that enables us to do all the community work that we do, enables us to do the community coaching that we talked about earlier. Not only will you get 2 tickets to the Merthyr game on the Harriers Foundation table, but you will also get a behind the scenes tour of the whole of the Agra on match day as well. So you get to go in the dressing room, meet the players, meet the manager, you go in his office. Wow. You'll get to be able to sit directly behind the players while you're watching the game. And then you'll also get a night over in Bank Farm Lodge that night as well in one of their glamping pods. You'll get 2 passes to go to the safari park as well. There's a decent prize, and you'll get a massive voucher to spend in the club shop as well.
How do people enter the?
They can do that. I'll put the link in the description of this video, and you can do it there. But if you go on our Facebook page, which is Harry's Foundation, you will see it all on there. It's all advertised on there. Give loads of information. It's £10 a ticket, but you can buy 10 tickets for £50. So, there is deals to be had out there, and it's worth it. You can't even buy 1 ticket for. That game up in hospitality for 50 quid. So to get 2 and all that other stuff, and then the runners-up prizes are great as well. You can go to the cricket, you can go to the horse racing. There's golf. There's other Harriers related stuff. So get involved, support the local charity, and come and see that game. And if you're not going in hospitality, if you don't win the prize, make sure you get a ticket to come to that Merthyr game, because I think that the atmosphere is the thing that lifts us at times.
I think the way things are going with the club, we're on the up.
Yeah,
we've got a great financial foundation. There's a buzz around the club again. I think people have jumped off the Adam Murray needs to leave bus and realised we've got a good manager.
Realised we were right.
Well, I'm not saying that. You've put your head out there. You're right, but we've got the foundation.
Yeah.
You're working for, and I think it's doing good work in the community. It's going to grow. We're a club that's got something about it.
Yeah,
and we the fans need to be upping the ante and really bigging it up and getting involved.
I would love a bit of fan engagement, so I guess we can answer this in a moment. But what would you love to see on match day? What's the thing that will help boost that atmosphere, gain some more traction with you guys, engagement? What is it that the club has not asked me to do this, but I'm just interested. What do we want to see? That fan zone that's out there. There is a few things that go on there. We have the food bank collection every week. We have the kit collections going on every week. We have some challenges for kids. Sometimes there's the music going on. There's the extended beer garden. Obviously, the weather has a part to play in all of this stuff. But what would you like to see pre-match going on? And what is it that we want to see as the Harriers fans? What's going to, rev us up and get us going? Is it? We had the sea shanty band before Christmas, and I have to say I wasn't looking forward to that in November, but they were fantastic. It was really different. It was exciting.
And then Christmas, we had the chap on the stage. We had the Salvation Army.
Yeah, so we had the Salvation Army, and we had Dan come and lead us with some music as well, and that was just fantastic. It was really good. We have Kev Donaldson sometimes, but. What else do you want to see on there? What about you, Liam? What would you like to see going on?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily what needs to be added to the fans. I think let's just encourage fans to get there early. I think 3 of us, we tend to get there earlier than the average fan. And to have more fans in that zone, be a bit more of a buzz.
Yeah.
I think, it's like looking back to the Reading and West Ham, I was quite fortunate to have a ticket to enter the Harriers Arms, but before that West Ham game, it was absolutely buzzing. So I think if we get that before a home game, that carries momentum into the crowd and therefore the players. So,
and obviously, listen, West Ham's Premier League, all that stuff, but there should be no reason why we don't have that buzz, like you're saying, in and around the club. It's still the same club, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether you're playing West Ham or you're playing, where we're playing Merthyr, it's the same club. It's our club, it's our town.
Yeah.
And we've got local lads playing in our team.
That's right.
Which is something we should be proud of. I look at the Premier League now, and there's a rarity. So, as a it's funny now, I'd call myself a loose Liverpool fan now because I'm more of a Harriers fan, but as a loose Liverpool fan now, I look at that team. The biggest travesty was selling someone like Trent because he was a connection to the city.
Yeah.
He was a local lad. You know, we've still got Curtis Jones in there, which is fantastic, but it's when you look around, that team is not made up of a bunch of Scousers.
No, that's right.
When you look at like people like Man United, there's hardly any Mancunians in that team. Arsenal, there's hardly any Cockneys in the team, and so on and so forth. You could go through every team and strip it down. I'd even argue with Birmingham, how many Brummies are in the team? You know, Villa,
right.
how many Brummies? You know, so the reality is, it's a rarity to have local people playing for a professional team. We should be absolutely proud of our club that we're producing it.
And seek to do more of that, isn't it? You want your players to be good, absolutely. So you've got to unearth talent, but we should aim for local as much as possible, you know, so that there's that connection. There's almost a real inbuilt passion.
So, we kind of have done a midway prediction, but I'd love to know now your thoughts. Do you think we're going to win the league playoffs, or what's your thoughts at this moment in time?
I think we've got play. No, we haven't got it. We will get playoffs. I don't think we'll win the league. I think we've left that a bit late. I fear. I don't think we can. I think Saturday didn't help drawing rather than winning. But all teams are going to lose points. But I think to catch the top two is going to be difficult. Who knows? But I think we'll get playoffs. And I go back to what was said before. We said right at the beginning of the season, I think we're on a 2-year plan. And if this season doesn't end how we'd like it to, with promotion or even a chance of promotion, next season we start from a better place. And I'll be happy with that. I want us to give it. I fully believe we'll get playoffs. And give that a good go, and I hope get promoted.
What's your thoughts against Halifax? Do you think we'll go up against Halifax? Or do you think we'll beat Halifax and go through in the cup, or do you think?
I'm not sure.
They're sitting like mid-table in the national the National League.
I think that they're probably favourites without a doubt, but why not? Why not? What round is it we're going into?
So it's the last 8.
Last 8.
So there's 2 more games, isn't there?
Yeah.
Am I right in saying that? Is it the last 8? Or was it last 16?
I couldn't tell you.
I'm not sure. I wasn't taking much notice of what rounds it was, but we could. It's a cup again, isn't it? You know, why not? Why not? And have a journey to Wembley. Who knows? You know, who knows? But I think ultimately I'd rather get playoffs and promotion, if possible, than go to Wembley. Both would be awesome.
And if we do get playoffs and promotion, taking a week off work and celebrating all week?
I think learning from experience from last time, I think a day off the next day would have been quite kind to my body, but so definitely this time I think so.
Yeah, just one day.
It was quite a party.
Yeah, it was quite a party, wasn't it? What's your thoughts then for the end of the season?
I think if we hit our form right at the end of the season, I think we'll go into playoffs favourites, and obviously games will be at home if we finish in that second or third spot. So if we were to go through playoffs, I think I would back our chances. And it is the best way to get promoted, really.
Oh, of course it is. Yes. Yeah, absolutely it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, the reality is we shouldn't fear anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, there's nothing to fear. We went into this season as title favourites,
which was, I think that was
unnecessary pressure.
False picture of where we were.
Potentially, yeah. But I think what it also did is acknowledge that we've got a great manager.
Yeah.
And that we had some decent players coming in. Yeah.
unfortunately, some of the players that he had at the time hadn't transpired into what we were hoping that they would and what he hoped they would. And we wished all those guys good luck who have gone. Spokesy's gone out. Tunnicliffe has gone out, and I really like Tunny. I thought he's a great guy. Sat with him a lot for the last few games. But when you're sitting with players watching the game, that's when you know actually it's probably the time is up. And so I really hope he kicks on and does well down in Farnborough. I found it a bit of a strange place to go, but maybe he's just desperate to play football and get on there. And other people have come and gone, but we seem to have quite a settled team, like you say, so we shouldn't fear, because what we've got is good players, we've got a great manager, we've got an excellent owner, and as you've alluded to, the club is in a very strong position at this moment in time.
Yeah, and again, I mentioned to Stuart Watkiss. Watkiss?
Yeah,
I've said the right name. I say these names and I think my head goes, that's wrong. Stuart Watkiss. I think when he came in, I'm not saying I think Adam is the manager, and but I think it's been good for Adam to have a right hand man.
Yep.
Someone who he can bat ideas off. And I think some credit has to go to Stuart Watkiss as well.
Definitely, and I think that the reality is, what Adam has done is built a team that of not an echo chamber.
Yes.
You can have an echo chamber, and if you know anything about management or leadership in general, an echo chamber, it's dangerous. And what we mean by that is people who just go, I agree with you, or repeat what you're saying, rather than challenge what you're saying or even give you other ideas. Yeah. Because if you don't have other ideas, you'll just go in one direction forever, even if it's the wrong direction. Yeah. But it's important that you've got other people around you with other ways of thinking and doing. And I think that credit goes to Adam. Stuart's different, Mario's different, Luca's different, Dan's different, Tom's different. All got different personalities, different ways of looking at it, and different experience. But it's good. I don't think there's much else to add, is there? You ain't got anything else that you want to talk about?
No, I mentioned my scarf.
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is get yourself onto that Ultimate Harriers raffle and get yourself signed up for it. The other thing to mention is the Men's Mental Health Hub. If you are planning on coming, it's no longer on a Monday, it is on a Wednesday, and that is going to be starting at 7 o'clock, not 6:30, so 7 o'clock till 8:30. It's on grass. Bring your boots. If you haven't got any, we'll make sure you get some. It'll be great to see you all there. It's completely free. Up the Harriers.
Up the Harriers.
Up the Harriers.